Palm Springs, #1 long is blah, 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 blah. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna play a game right now. And this game is fun because what? I told you it is. Common sense. Now, I'm gonna name a celebrity that this lovely chicken nugget has worked with. And she's either gonna say love or crazy love. You kind of get the point. Crazy love means that they were a little crazy, but in a good way. Because what? Coco has no fans, and I can't say bad things about people. Kay Ballard.
Love.
Carol Channing.
Love, love.
Mae West.
Pure love.
Okay, I have to stop. Is that not even stop this? I just have to stop and stop the game because you really have met Mae West.
Yeah, she was.
How was she?
She was amazing. It happened very oddly. Several years ago, the whole premise for me starting drag, I had come home from school one afternoon and the Mike Douglas show was on, which I always rushed home to watch. This day in particular, because his guest was one of my comic idols, was Toadie Fields.
Okay.
And she was the guest. So I sat and watched Toadie, I was enthralled, and he said, now we have a very special guest, please welcome Betty Davis. And I thought, really? Well, the curtain opens up, and out comes what we thought was Betty Davis. It was Charles Pierce as Betty Davis.
What?
And I was sitting there with my mother, and we were both mesmerized. And I looked at her and I said, I'm going to meet him one day. And my mother gave me...
Of course you are, son. My mother was very supportive.
I mean, she knew I was queer long before I knew. She opened up the closet door, slapped me, and slammed the door and said, come out when you're ready.
Yes!
She knew. My birth was preceded by 3 yards of yellow chiffon and a Judy Garland record.
I'm just saying. I'm dying!
So, fast forward.
I start doing drag, and I'm out of high school, and I joined the military. I joined the Navy. In the Navy. That's right. And I was stationed to be transferred to the West Coast. So
my running joke is friends of mine said, oh, you should take your drag with you. Go west. So they said, westward ho. So the ho went west.
I'm sorry.
You want to retake that one?
No, we'll keep going. The ho went west.
So I went to San Diego and joined. I was in the Navy and started performing there at a club. And then shortly afterwards, I went to San Francisco and met some other people and became friends with them. And I moved to the Bay Area. And they said, we're going to go to a show. And they took me to the Fairmont Hotel. And they told me it was going to be an entertainer that I would love to see. And it was Charles Pierce. So Charles came out, did his show, it was amazing, and come to find out that my friends were personal friends of his, took me backstage, introduced me, and we started chatting. After about 45 minutes, he's still in makeup, and he says, well,
Mary, I've got to get this shit off me. He says, come up to my room.
We traipsed up to his room, and I was up there with him until about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning just talking. And at that point, he became not only my friend, but my mentor. And started coaching me and instructing me. And after about a year, at this point I was still just 20 years old. And it was 1979, and I had a chance to audition for Finocchio's nightclub in San Francisco. He called Mrs. Finocchio and arranged for a private audition. And I went and I auditioned Mae West. They hired me. I got the job. Several months later, Mae was coming to San Francisco, and unbeknownst to me, Charles called Mae and said, when you're up there, go to Finocchio's, which she had done many times. And she said, oh, why? He goes, well, there's a young guy there that's doing you. And her response was basically, honey, all the drag queens do me. He said, yeah, but this is a 20-year-old boy doing you as an 85-year-old woman. So
wow.
I walk out on stage that night, and I'm doing my routine, and I'm looking at the audience, and the audience is doing this, and they're doing this, then they're doing this, and I'm like, what the hell? So I'm on stage, and I'm talking, and I glance over, and sitting over in the side was Mae West.
Hi, Stitches. I literally stitched up. Oh my gosh, that's absolutely amazing. I was wrecked beyond belief.
And I finished my routine and got off stage, and I was sweating bullets. And we did finish the show, and we had an intermission, and I'm upstage, and I hear, and I open my dressing room door, and there is a very handsome, muscle-built young man said, Miss West would like to meet you and say hello. I went, oh, well, I'll throw something on and come down. She says, oh no, she's right here. She came into my dressing room and sat down, and intermission's 15 minutes. 20 minutes go by and we're still talking, and I hear an announcement over the intercom system from the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, our show has been delayed slightly. Miss West is visiting the cast. She's still upstairs in my dressing room. And she gave me pointers. She says, next time you do me, she says, a little more of this, a little less of that. And we became friends after that, and I was invited to her apartment at Ravenswood in Los Angeles several times when I went down there. So that was my Mae West experience. We became friends up until she died about a year or so later.
Oh my jaw is literally dropped. That is such a beautiful experience.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. And working at a club like Finocchio's, I ended up becoming not only an act, but about probably maybe a couple of years later, the MC took ill and I stepped in as the host, and the MC decided to retire, and I was offered the MC job and became the headliner for 12 years.
That's amazing. You've had a lot of long-running shows, my friend.
Bam.
Hold on, you've got a hair.
Thank you so much.
Right there.
So what would the advice be that you had for new up-and-coming queens on being a drag queen in today's modern world?
Please don't. I have enough competition from the Drag Race bitches.
And the second one is, honestly, follow your heart and do what makes you happy. And that's my basic advice for anybody in life in general. Do what makes you happy. If you don't like your job, if you're flipping burgers at McDonald's and you need to do that to make a living, God bless you for doing it. I'm a customer and I appreciate it. But when it gets down to it, if you have passion, follow your passion, follow your heart. If you hate what you're doing, find something that makes you happy and do that, and you will excel in life always. But when it comes to drag, you have to find what speaks to you. You have to know your heart. Don't just get out there and be crazy. Drag is an art, and make it your art.
I want to be an asshole, but I can't. That is...
500 to 45 kilograms.
Yeah, that's all she is.
Sure, but Jesus loves you.
But nobody else.
Oh my God, that's my hashtag line! My soulmate!
Dear Tommy, again, thank you so much for all the inspiration on not just drag, but in life as well. I'm so happy you kidnapped me into your family because I like family. Yay! Love Coco. P.S. Franco says hi too. He is so annoying.